Next up, we have Never Forget Midnight version from the Halo 4 original soundtrack. Once again, everybody, this is a Basterd's LFA, a layman-friendly analysis. I'm a professionally trained musician, a composer, and my objective here is to explain things in a way so that you don't have to be one to understand what is happening here musically. If you like the sound of that, make sure you subscribe to the channel, follow the channel, whatever term you want to use. Like the video, share the video, leave a comment, turn on notifications, all that good stuff. Consider becoming a member, paid subscription thing. Support the channel with your money that way. Every penny that goes into this channel goes straight back into this channel for upgrades and all that kind of stuff. And, of course, 2 disclaimers. Number one, I'm going to be pausing a lot because I'm going to be pointing things out as I hear them, and this is my first time hearing this track. Number 2, this is recorded live on stream on a single take. So whatever happens, happens. I might stumble upon my words. I think I did a couple of times there. With that being said, let's do this. Let's go. Never Forget Midnight version. Let's see what you got. 8 seconds in, we have this very, very faint, almost like a submarine sonar. No, not submarine, like kind of sound like a distant submarine or something like that. Very, very faint. Sounds distant, kind of like underwater. So, let's see where this goes. Oh, and a string orchestra. 2 chords, 2 notes from each instrument. And we got a beautiful initial motif. Yeah, the orchestration in these are always beautiful. By the way, a string orchestra, for those of you who don't know, a string orchestra is a subdivision of a regular orchestra. A regular orchestra will usually have sections. You will have 2 sets of violins, so violins 1 and 2, violas, 1 section of violas. Sections of violins means each section of violin can be anywhere between 4 and 16 violins. So 16 first violins, 16 second violins, around maybe 14 violas, cellos, double basses. That is the string orchestra. The layout of a string orchestra, of course, is you will have the director over here. Then you will have violin 1 over here, violin 2 over here, violas over here, cellos over here, and double basses usually in the back over here. That's usually the layout of a string orchestra. This leaves space for the woodwinds, which will go over here, the brass, which often goes over here, and the percussion, which will usually go over here. And with this, you get a lot of people. And if you want to put a chorus in it, you can put it on the back over here. And if you have a solo player, you put the solo player next to the director, either here or here. And there you go. This is the layout of an orchestra. A woodwind section will usually be composed of flutes, oboes, clarinets, and bassoons. Those are usually the normal ones, and you can sometimes include the French horn in them. The brass section is going to be trumpets, trombones, and tubas, and variations of these instruments. Like you can have like a bass clarinet, or a contrabassoon, or a piccolo flute, stuff like that. They are all going to fall under the woodwinds, and that kind of thing. Percussion, that's usually where you're going to get your marimbas, bass drums, timpani, that kind of thing. So yeah, I just wanted to give you an overall idea. So the string section is going to be these, I should have included the double basses over there, is going to be these guys over here. That is your string orchestra, and that's what we just had playing, all of them on the lower end of their register. And Rhythm says you can't. I don't think the bot has that command. It's not smart enough for it. So, there you go. Let's see. Let's see where this goes. I see shell shrug. I see. Again. And now that very faint synth in the back is acting as a pedal tone. A pedal tone is literally, or a pedal note, interchangeable, is just a note that is held for a long time. That's that. And that's what's been happening, right? Like, that note is still playing, and it's still in the back, very, very faint, but it's there. It's acting kind of like the glue, the rope that is, the thread that is keeping everything together. Let's see where this goes. We now put the pedal note on the strings high above, and they are doing a wonderful, beautiful melody. We bring in a motif. What a beautiful motif. Motif, of course, being smallest version of a musical idea, the seed from which everything else comes from. Which I think the motif was already done by the strings in the first bit, which is the whole concept of going downwards, right? So let's see where this goes. Variation, instead of going down, we go up. I think that was a guitar. Oh, and we bring our leitmotif, because we've heard this one before in one of the other analyses we've done. A leitmotif is, of course, something invented by Richard Wagner, which is when you have a motif and you want to use it in more than just one piece of music. So if a motif shows up in more than one piece of music, it becomes a leitmotif, especially if it comes associated with something specific. So in the case of Wagner, one of the leitmotifs that I love is, and one of the places where he introduced them was his Ring Cycle opera series. It's 4 operas totaling 12 hours. So yeah, he thought, I don't really want to I don't really want to just use an idea once and let it go. I'm just going to use them again. So for example, the Ring Cycle is it's one of the bases for the Lord of the Rings, one of the inspirations that Tolkien used for the Lord of the Rings. But basically it happens in Norse mythology, right? So we have Valhalla, we have Odin, we have Loki, all that kind of stuff. So every time Valhalla is mentioned, a very specific instrument plays a very specific melody. Or a group of instruments play the leitmotif of Valhalla. And this happens throughout all of the operas. Whenever Valhalla is mentioned, that happens. That is a leitmotif. And that motif that we just heard is, therefore in the unforgotten version, thank you. So yes, from Halo 2, we are doing a leitmotif here, bringing this back. So, let's see. We have that guitar, and oh, that motif is beautiful. Which I think the start and that melody from the violins was based on that motif. So we are using this motif as the central motif so far. It's just, we didn't fully introduce the motif until now, and it's been beautiful. I like the guitar on top of it, giving us that that thing. It's not an acoustic guitar, which is interesting. It's just an electric guitar, but it's really cool. It just sounds really nice. Let's see where this goes. I think it's because of the reverb that they didn't use an acoustic guitar. Oh, it's such a beautiful melody. Bring in more piano. Oh my god, I love French horns when they do that. I'm getting goosebumps, dude. Okay, so we bring in the piano and we have this very like, the French horn is one of my favorite instruments when it comes to composition. For those of you who don't know what it looks like, a French horn is this funny looking fella right over here. This very silly looking, let me open the image in a new tab. This okay, so this very lovely, it's trumpet but circle, and unlike trumpets, trombones, that the horn is facing forwards, with the French horn, the bell is facing backwards, which allows players to put their hand in to use as a mute. It is a genuine technique that they use, And one of the most beautiful things about the French horn is that it's one of the very few brass instruments that you can actually play quietly. Because with the other brass instruments, they are very loud. They are very, very loud, very bombastic. So it's very difficult to get them to play quietly. But the French horn doesn't quite have that limitation, probably because of its design and the way the bell is designed and everything. But, excuse me. And yeah, it's a beautiful instrument, and it just has this very lovely way of sounding royal and warm, but not bombastic. I love the French horn for that. For quiet pieces, like solemn pieces like this one, it's beautiful. Let's see where this goes. So yeah, that brass that sounded in, that was those French horns. I love it. We are doing crescendos here. This is like textbook crescendo. So crescendo just means it gets louder. And we are doing crescendo followed by decrescendo, which just means from going loud to going quiet. That's it. That's just what's happening. And by the way, crescendo means that you're gradually getting louder. Decrescendo means you're gradually getting quieter. So it gives you this sense of waves, of just waves hitting and going back out, breathing, that kind of thing. It gives you that sense of, yeah, I would say breathing. It gives you that sense of breathing. And it's so well made. It's so well made. Like we have, of course, the piano. We have the strings, which strings have that. Unlike the brass, because brass is loud or louder, strings can be quiet, really quiet, or loud. And they have that whole dynamic range. That's what is called the dynamic range, is how quiet and how loud the instrument can go. And there is so much of a difference between the velocity of an instrument versus the volume of an instrument, because the volume is something that your sound engineer can just turn up or down, but the velocity is how quiet or how loud the player is actually playing the instrument, and there is a massive difference there. Because if you just had a violin playing at mezzo forte, like not too quiet, not too loud, and just playing a note, and the engineer faded up and down, it wouldn't sound anywhere near, it wouldn't have anywhere near the texture that these have. So yeah, let's see where this goes. MVP, welcome to the day. How you doing? Now the French horn. It's so beautiful. So we are having a very subtle counterpoint going on here. So counterpoint, of course, being the study of melodies, how they interact with each other, usually when they're independent melodies. We have many types of counterpoint, but essentially it's just that. We're having right now the violins, a high up, very, very high up, almost untouchable, just doing this very lovely floating melody above, and then we have the French horn going up and down, kind of like trying to reach it, but not quite being able to make it. This is beautiful, man. I really need to play Halo. We're gonna play Halo. We're gonna play Halo eventually. We just need to finish Alan Wake. So let's do this. Oh, crescendo. We bring in some of the other brass. Oh, a wolf howl. Which, again, the wolf howl, the lone wolf trope. Once again, when it comes to music, you want the part of the orchestration and instrumentation is to pick the right instrument or the right sounds for the right tone and the right psychological response. Why would you put a howling wolf, a single howling wolf, in a game like Halo? Well, because Master Chief is a lone wolf. And the lone wolf, you know, wolves are not supposed to be alone. They're pack animals. But the lone wolf, that it has that tragic strength to it. And that's what we associate with lone wolf. So having that very far off in the back, very faint, very subtle, very nice. Let's see where this goes. Oh. And the one hit from the bass drum, and we just speed things up. This is so good. This is so good. Guitar again? Chief isn't alone? Isn't he? Trumpet! We got a trumpet. We got a trumpet. We actually got a trumpet. So trumpets are a very peculiar instrument because those are often very militaristic instrument, and they are they are an instrument very much associated with the idea of the triumphant. It's a very quiet trumpet. It's very far in the back, which it is a technique that composers use to make trumpets sound quieter. They ask the players to leave the room and play from backstage. I've seen this happen. I attended, I remember back when I was in school, the Boston Symphony Orchestra. We had a piece from, I think it was Berlioz, who had trumpets, and the composer wanted to, I don't think it was Berlioz, it was some other composer, but to make the trumpets be able to sound the way they sound but not overpower the orchestra, the trumpet players walked off to backstage. The backstage was just left with the door open, and the trumpets played from outside the stage. And just the dampening of that, you know, the filter from being in another room, caused that. So considering that this trumpet wasn't truly playing too quiet, this might have happened. That, or the sound engineer just turned down the volume for their section, since not too much else was going on in that section over there. I like the idea of them doing it that way, though. Of them being like, okay, so you will have a lovely solo, so please leave the room. You're gonna have a lovely melody, so please leave the room when you play it. Because it's a trumpet. Because once again, when it comes to brass instruments, trumpets, trombones, tubas, they are very loud. They are very loud instruments. We're talking a single trombone, a single trumpet can be louder than the entire rest of the orchestra. Like a full string orchestra, a full woodwind ensemble, a single trumpet, a single trombone can become louder than they are. So I like the idea of the composer here being like, I have this beautiful melody for you. I need you to step out to play it so that we don't hear it as much. Anyway, let's continue. This is beautiful, man. Oh. Ooh, simple. Is it not possible to design a quiet trumpet? There are mutes for trumpets, but then you change the timbre of it. And technically a quiet trumpet would be the French horn. But the sound is different as well. So yeah, because of how they are designed, yeah, you can put mutes on a trumpet, which, by the way, let me show you again. This is roughly how they would look. I don't know why they put a trombone. Why is the first result for muted trumpet a trombone? Ridiculous. But yeah, this is how they look like, and you can have almost anything as a mute. But it does change how the trumpet sounds. Very popular in jazz. Very, very popular for jazz. So, change the material of the trumpet. If you make a trumpet out of anything other than brass, you're not going to get anywhere near the same sound. So, playing with the mute, the times have done it. Yeah, I know that trumpet players don't really like mutes, especially because they can fall off very easily because you just put it there. So, yeah, I don't think changing the material of the trumpet would be able to give you, because the brass is what gives it that that sound. Because if you get a trumpet and you make it out of wood, you get an oboe. If you take the idea of a trumpet, you make it out of wood, it's an oboe. So, or a clarinet. It just feels weird. It is weird. Yeah. Yeah. But yeah, let's see where this goes. We got a little bit more activity here. Let's see where this goes. Now the trumpet is back in the room. There you go. Maybe, yeah. Maybe, I don't know. it reached the high note. I was worried that, because last time when we had this rising melody, usually you want to resolve that into the high note, and last time they didn't. They went downwards. This time they actually they didn't go all the way in, but they did touch that high note. So I like that. We revisited something we got teased earlier, and now we actually went all the way up. And we're having this very beautiful climax where, again, for climax in a composition, you want to revisit as much of the material as you can, as many of the elements that you can. That's why the trumpet came back into the room and started playing a little bit louder. Now, especially because the rest of the orchestra is playing louder, so now the trumpet can be little bit louder. And we're just having a little bit of everything now. And this is just beautiful. Let's see where this goes. Oh yeah, counterpoint between lovely cadence there. Oh. Woo! So yeah, now we are having the whole orchestra involved. We brought in the brass, we brought in the percussion, and we are just giving that glorious, just absolutely triumphant sound to this whole thing. It is absolutely beautiful the way that this is being done. Everybody is doing their thing, and we're having a beautiful counterpoint again between the strings and the brass. This is Let's see. Oh, glorious. And back to the melody. Oh, with a French horn doing an incredible, like, it's going more or less an inverted way, so it's kind of going downwards instead of upwards. What a beautiful sound, dude. I love French horns. I love French horns. If they put chords with those French horns when they reach the climax of this little section, I'm gonna be so happy. Let's see. Transitions, the modulation. Okay, modulation. So we also are having a bunch of modulation. So what is modulation? Again, when it comes to music, there are three things: melody, harmony, and rhythm. Harmony is what chords you're using, what scales you're using. The group of chords that you're in is called the key signature. And every scale that you use will have a certain key signature. For example, each note might have it. So the key of C major, the scale of C major has the key signature of C major. And you will have that for every scale, right? Like you can have D major, E major, A major, that kind of thing. So modulation is when you change from one key signature to another. And for that, you usually want to use some sort of cadence. Now, cadence is what happens when you do one of two things in music. When you're making music, you do one of two things. You build tension or you resolve that tension. The point in between there is called the cadence. So to modulate, usually the most common type of modulation is called common chord modulation. So what you do is, True Super Ninja, welcome today, how you doing? So what you do is that you bring the two scales that you're using, the one that you have, and the one that you want to go to, and you find whatever overlap you can have so that you create a smooth transition so that the new scale doesn't feel just completely brutally put there. And it's just beautiful. Like the way it's happening here is beautiful. So yeah, with common chord modulation, let's say, I was using the lower end. So with common chord modulation, let's say scale 1 has, let's say we're in C major. So C, D, E, F, G, A, and B, right? That's just your good old C major scale. And we want to go over to D major scale. So D major, we're going to have D, we're going to have E, we're going to have F sharp, we're going to have, let's make it easier, let's go to G. So with G, the whole thing is the same, except instead of an F, we have an F sharp. So the whole scale is the same. However, for the common chord modulation, that means all the other notes are the same. So if I want to build a chord, I can just use the so let's bring it in. So G, A, B, C, D, E, and F sharp. That's the scale of G major. So if we want to switch from C major to G major, well, we just need to find chords that are common between the two. We can use pretty much the same scale, and then we just put an F sharp in. We're now in G major. So that's how you do modulation, and the way they're doing modulation here is so subtle because there's a lot of stuff going on in the orchestra, and they're just hiding these common tones, and then they're bringing the new ones in such a beautiful way that it just flows in so naturally. It's difficult to tell that you even changed measures, key signatures. It's beautiful. Let's see. We're about this. This should be ending soon. Let's see where it goes. We cut to have a piano do this. Oh. And once again, the whole concept of instrumentation, the piano is something that you can associate with the lone individual. And this is, again, I've talked about this many times. If you want a beautiful way of having, because this was escalating, and we were expecting that high note, and instead of that, we went for we hit that high note with the piano, but we did it softly. This type of whiplash is more powerful than just hitting that powerful high note, which we did hit several times with those previous ones. Cinema. Yeah, it gives you that sense of melancholy with this, and it is just beautiful. Let's see where this goes. We bring back that synth that we had at this. Oh my god, that synth was a guitar. It just had a bunch of effects. It was the... And there you go. And you just let those last notes bleed out. You let them ring, and you just let the music do what it will. And we ended there. Oh my god. Dude, that was beautiful. That was beautiful. There you go. That was Never Forget Midnight version from the Halo 4 original soundtrack. What a piece. What a beautiful, majestic piece. Once again, everybody, this has been a Basterd's LFA, a layman-friendly analysis. I'm a professionally trained musician, a composer, and I hope I have explained things in a way that you don't have to be a professionally trained musician to understand what has happened here musically. If you're watching this in the video archive, thank you for watching. Make sure you're following the channel, subscribe to the channel, whatever term you want to use. Like the video, share the video, leave a comment, turn on notifications, all that good stuff. Consider becoming a member. One of them, paid subscription things, support the channel further with that. Give me money. And no obligation at all. There's no obligation. It's your money. It's your money. And, of course, if you want to listen to this without me interrupting every 3 seconds, I will be linking it down below. If you want to request a song and you're not on the live stream, go to the Discord. Links in the description. Go to the LFA requests channel. Follow the instructions on the pinned comments. And that's that. And if you want to catch the streams live, linked in the description will be the Twitch and the Discord channels, which have the stream schedule showing in your local time zone so that you don't have to bother with calculating anything like that. And with that, there you go. That was Never Forget, the Midnight version from the Halo 4 soundtrack. What a beautiful thing, dude. That was awesome. But, yeah, let's move on.